And from Smart Move to UK, we aim to give you this first-hand information about the changes so you can plan your application accordingly. So this is the change that is introduction to new changes in 2023. And time and again, the Home Office tries to improvise on policies. They bring on amendment. Once the policies are out, they kind of figure out if the policies are amicable or are they um, really meeting the objective for which it was been put in place, etc. And they do a reassessment, and therefore they make an amendment in the rules. So one such amendment has very recently happened in 2023, and in today's live, we'll be going to discuss about which categories are going to get affected because of this amendment that has so transpired. And please keep watching this video till the end because there's so many categories, and perhaps you're aspiring to do an application under one of these visa categories. Then you need to know on what is actually changing and how is it going to affect your application. There are some good news. There are some very good amendments that has happened, and that's also, as a practitioner, helped us to say, I mean, we were looking forward for such changes to happen for a long time, and finally it's happening. So we see the benefits to the applicants. But then there are some not so good news where policies will get a bit more stringent, and they'll be a bit more firmer in terms of how they're going to be placed in the coming times. So please do watch this video, and before we begin with the details, I would like to give a brief about the statement of changes of UK visas. So the immigration rules are some of the most important pieces of legislation that make up the UK immigration laws. They are updated on a regular basis, and all the changes can be found at the UK Immigration Rules Statement of Changes. That's where you can see all these changes that are transpiring. The Secretary of State ensures that the immigration rules are reviewed timely and necessary amendments and changes are made to the existing rules. And here is where, at a regular basis, one needs to review those amendments and see on how certain things are changed. So here is an insight of the new changes to the UK visas and immigration laws. First, let's talk about the business category of the visas, which is changing. And in here, we have the most popular categories, which is the startup and innovator visas. And so we're going to speak about these two categories for business migration particularly. So to begin with, the UK startup visas shall be permanently discontinued from 13th April 2023. Yes, you heard it right. And this is, as a practitioner, I've said it many times on different forums. And I have said that, if you qualify to make an application, the right time is now. So you need to action it right away, right now, sort of thing. So for all the applicants who are aspiring to do a startup visas, you need to make a note that this policy is going to discontinue. It's going to get abolished by 13th of April 2023. However, if you launch your application before these timelines, it will be accepted, and any approvals happening whilst your application is getting assessed and the approvals happening, you will still be under the rules which are existing up until 13th of April 2023. So do rush in to complete the application and make sure if you're looking to file, you're doing this before 13th April 2023 for the UK startup category of visas. And with the UK innovator visas, that's getting replaced now with the new category called as a UK innovator founder visas. And this is again happening in April 2023. So it's not getting abolished, but they're making some changes within the UK innovator visas. And the new category is now renamed and called as UK innovator founder visas from April 2023. So the statement of change rethinks the innovator and startup visas and replaces them with the new innovator founder visas. The aim is to make the criteria currently applicable under the innovative visas more flexible so that the genuine proposals for the innovative visas, innovative businesses, and those who have sufficient fund to deliver are more readily available to enter the UK and establish this business. So they're trying to, at the moment as well, I think the innovator visas is very flexible, but they're bringing more flexibility. I guess from the country's perspective, they're looking at for more innovators, more innovative businesses to enter the UK market, and hence the flexibility, the additional flexibility may perhaps increase the number of applications under this category. And I think this is a brilliant news. I see there's a lot of innovative businesses in and around nowadays. There's brilliant ideas coming up. There's quite a lot of entrepreneurs who are able to break through with the given processes and the way the systems are working on, and also bringing in new product. I think it's going to be a very good proposition for such innovative businesses. And UK is a hub for innovation, and this statistically been proven in my last webinar as well. I have given statistics about the number of applications which are on rise under this category of innovator visas in the UK. A very good environment been provided by the UK government, which can help such businesses to flourish in the UK. So watch out if you're going to make an application. This is going to be more easier as it's becoming more flexible, and UK is encouraging innovative businesses to enter the UK. Exciting news for the applicants entering under this category. And once again, I'll remind the new visa category is known as the Innovator Founder visas, under which the relaxation is going to happen and the flexibility is going to come over. There will be an extension of the application possible under this category, which is again a brilliant news for the innovators if they need some more time for the business to set up and to kind of switch their status to say ILR, or subsequently naturalize themselves as British nationals. Then I think this again is a very good news where you will have extension applications which will be possible till you'll be able to qualify under the new innovator founder visa category. Settlement, of course, is possible after spending 3 years residing in the UK under the innovator founder visas. You will have to be qualifying, or it is subject to you qualifying the criteria for settlement. But I think it's wonderful. If I've been in immigration for the last 15 years, and when I compare this opportunity, especially for the innovators, I think it's a very big advantage, because most of the country in comparison would take very long for you to get your complete rights. However, I think this is fastest that you can look into getting your settlement in the UK, just literally about in 3 years time. So if you have innovative ideas, do consider UK as a destination, and you can also not only get in you can not only get an opportunity to reach your products and services to the UK, but you also get a possibility if you want to settle in the UK and make it as your home. So settlement is possible under the innovator founder visas as well. The new innovator founder visa does not have £50,000 funds requirement, which is again fantastic news. I think sometimes there is an innovation, but the struggle is to find funds. So it is a very good news for the business uh, owners who are having an innovative ideas to enter the UK, especially when the fund requirement has been taken away under the new amendments. Uh, the second bit that we have over here is again a very, very popular category, which is the UK skilled worker visas. And in the skilled worker visas, there's a couple of substitution that's happened in form of the salary, which has been published on the side table. And this is very, again, important to make a note because um, this does affect the possibility of the application getting approved or disapproved. So there's a substitution of £26,200 in place of £25,600, which I think is a very marginal one up over here, and a substitution of just a few hundred pounds more in case where the salaries were about 20,480. They're looking into the salary being minimum granted as £20,960. So again, very mindful. You have to look into these tables correctly before you are taking in the skilled worker visas on board. Um, Also, as far as the clause inserted in 14.3a, if the applicant has been sponsored to work a pattern where regular hours are not seen, the the same each week, resulting into uneven pay. So they kind of addressed this particular situation where there are uneven pay because of the irregularity of the hours. Then any work in excess of 48 hours in some weeks can be considered towards the salary thresholds, providing the average over a regular cycle, which can be less than but not more than 17 weeks, or is not more than 48 hours a week. And any unpaid rest weeks will count towards the average when considering whether the salary thresholds are met. Any unpaid rest week will not count as absence for employment for the purpose of paragraph 9.30.1 in part 9 of the rules. Also, the salary of Global Business Mobility Senior will be £45,800. Again, for the people who didn't know, there is there are already uh, job codes which are being published, and there's a salary against each job code, and one has to be mindful of this amounts when you're hiring talents from outside the UK under this category. The salary of senior specialist worker will be 24,220, and the salary of scale-up worker will be 34,600. The going rate in Table 1 as per the year is based on 37.5 hours working week. So that's what has changed as far as the skilled worker is concerned. Also, there has been some changes that has transpired in the electronic travel authorization. That's the ETA required for citizens of specific countries. The holder of an ETA will need to obtain permission to enter on arrival in the UK, but can be refused entry if they require an ETA and do not have one. An application for an ETA may be granted through an automated processing, and a person who's refused an ETA has not been refused permission to enter the UK and will need to apply for visas if they wish to come to UK. The ETA application process will open on 25th October 2023 only for Qatar nationals who intend to travel to UK on and after 15th November 2023, and the ETA application process will open on 1st February 2024 only for nationals of Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, UAE, or Saudi Arabia who intend to travel to UK on and after 22nd February 2024. So I think it's very important to make note of these dates. And lastly, the one that has been a relief is where applicant who has been granted an indefinite leave to remain in the UK, um, which which gets lapsed if you're outside UK for a period of more than 2 years, then you can make an application to return to the UK under the returning resident visa application. That's the current rules. Now, however, what used to happen is if you had an ILR, but if that's lapsed because you've been outside the UK for more than 2 years, but if you were not correctly been advised and the applicant happens to apply for a visit visas, then there was no opportunity to redo, or there was no opportunity then to apply for a returning residence visas. With these current changes, you can now still apply for a returning resident visas, even if your last granted visas was as a visitor uh, in the interim period. So whilst you were outside the UK and your ILR has lapsed because you remained outside UK for a period of say more than 2 years, and now that you had also applied for a visitor visa, but you intend to do a returning resident visas. Earlier, this was not possible. But now with this new change, we can apply for a returning resident visa application. You need to still qualify under the requirements which are set up in the immigration rules, which is that you have to explain the reason why uh, you could not enter the UK for a period of 2 years, and the other qualifying requirements which are there under for returning resident visas. But I think this is a very good news for a lot of applicants who were been misguided about not being able to ensure. So they were not aware that they could do a returning resident application. They thought they'd been outside UK for a longer duration. The ILR has lapsed now, and most of the time, they were being advised to do a visitor visa applications by their advisors. Uh, and once they did the visitor visa application, all that uh, uh, process where they almost had reached to an ILR would lapse, and there was no way to overturn that particular step that they had taken. So I think this has been good, that now they will be able to make an application for returning residents even if they have traveled as a visitor. So so on and all, yes, it's been good, and there's been more detail about the changes that has happened, and more information about specific or information about these changes will will be published in the coming times. So please do keep watching this space to get the first-hand updates about these changes, so that you are aware and doesn't take you by surprise when you make an application to say, well, you were not aware on what had changed. Because as an applicant, the onus is on the applicant to know the specific rules and the changes that happens in the rule. So thank you very, very much for joining today in this live session, and I hope this you found this helpful. I'll quickly summarize the few changes that has happened. The first and foremost, in the business immigration route, you have the startup visas getting abolished. So everybody intending to apply for startup visas must rush, and this is happening by 13th April 2023. So you do have few weeks now to complete the application and go ahead. Um, the innovator visa is changing. The new category is called as the UK Innovator Founder visas, bringing in more flexibility now, and allowing settlement, allowing extensions, also permitting to enter the UK without having the requisite funds. I think that's very, very important, and very good news for returning resident applicants as well. So I hope that this has been of help, and thank you very much. I hope everybody have a great evening ahead, and keep watching this space to find out more such changes on UK immigration and nationality laws. This is Falguni Parekh, an immigration solicitor, and been experienced for the last 15 years advising on UK immigration and nationality laws. I'm a founder of the company called The Smart Move to UK, and you can connect to us in case you have any queries for UK immigration. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.